Welcome back, R&M Nation. This is your boy Mugen, bringing it back with another anime discussion video. The topic for today's video is Demon Slayer the movie, Mugen Train. So in a very ironic and fitting way, I, Mugen, happen to be the host for this one. Joining me are R&M members Birdman, Pen, and Zero. And without further ado, let's get things started. Now, we do have quite a bit of thoughts on this, but I just want to kick it with a brief synopsis. It basically starts right where the TV show left off. So you got Tanjiro, Nezuko, Zenitsu, and Inosuke on board a train to assist the Flame Hashira Kyojuro Rengoku in his mission to hunt the demon that has killed many demon slayers aboard this train. So it's kind of like it's setting up its little mystery, like what's happening on this train. People are disappearing. We got to figure out why. And now we have this Hashira to go and help us out. So basically, that was pretty much the initial premise. And in going into the movie, I was a little taken aback, like, okay, so they're going to do this entire movie that takes place on a train. That's a very interesting setting because it's awfully cramped in that train, one, and it's like I'm trying to wonder how they're going to do that and kind of like the epic scale that a movie needs to be. Just on a train. So my initial thought going into that was, yeah, like I wonder how they're going to do this because they're going to give it quite a bit of a budget. Ufotable did amazing with the TV series, so I was expecting really, really good animation for this, and they did not disappoint, that's for sure. But going into it, I was a little hesitant on the plot, like what could they possibly do? But they really did a good job with it.
You know, having read the manga, I was also kind of skeptical when I saw that 2 hour mark, but honestly, they do a very impressive job of both spacing out the content while also letting you soak in the atmosphere. There's very, very long, very drawn out cuts, but they aren't wasted. Like there's, plenty of music, there's plenty of character interactions with the environment. I thought it was perfectly played out.
Definitely.
And I'll add the animation was just on point, as we expected from a Demon Slayer movie. The animation was top tier and just kind of, again, like all this was shot on a train and it made you kind of still feel the atmosphere, just feel a confined space to work with.
Cramped. It feels very cramped.
Yeah, definitely times where it feels cramped, but I definitely liked the fact that to me, it felt like they're just continuing the anime, like pacing wise and everything it did. I mean, there's definitely times where it feels like a big movie, but there's also times where it just feels like I'm just sitting here continuing the anime. Like there's just kind of feels like I'm going from like one episode to another, like kind of just seamlessly.
You have to go into this movie, of course, watching the anime previously. It's not one that's accessible without knowing the characters like Tanjiro, Nezuko, Zenitsu, and Inosuke. And I guess I just want to get into the character moments. They were pretty brilliant in this, and even the new character Rengoku. But we'll get to him in a sec. You get to know the characters a little bit more and their personality of what they're like in a dream state. Say Zenitsu, he's a simp for Nezuko basically, and any guy inside of his mind or anything like that is not allowed. And you get to kind of see and explore that a little bit more. You get to explore Inosuke and how he sees the trio, where he feels like I can be the leader, and like and everyone else is just kind of like their servants, especially Zenitsu. He just kind of like bucktooth and dumb looking, like I'm just a servant. And I thought that was kind of hilarious. And what his mind's like, how he sees the train, how ecstatic he is when he's on the train. It's quite amusing. I never get tired of watching Inosuke.
I mean, I'm on board with you with the Inosuke stuff. I mean, his dream state sequence, like it definitely reminded me of, I'm a Batman stan, so I was like, this guy's totally in the Batcave and, just chasing people around. So I thought that was really cool. I also liked Tanjiro's, his dream sequence. It just, again, just shows like this kid has just like so much heart. Like he's out here just fighting demons, trying to turn his sister back, to a human. But at the end of it, he's just not, I don't know, he's not like super jaded. He's not super just this angry, crazy person about it. He's just just this pure-hearted character, and it shows. And I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, going with that, my favorite part of that entire movie was when they actually found Tanjiro's subconscious.
Yes.
And just the little details, like the spirits that guided the dude, like that was amazing.
Yeah, without giving away too much, Tanjiro is definitely, I mean, he was definitely the heart and soul of the show, and that's no different here. His scenes are highly emotional, and you really feel for the guy. You really get into a little bit more into his psyche, and even when he realizes that everything around him is not what it seems, it's hard for him to make that decision to leave, because it's something that he really, really wants badly, and you kind of understand that and empathize with him. And I guess we can always get into the new character. We saw a little bit of Rengoku at the tail end of the original series, but we really didn't get to know him quite that well until this movie. Any initial thoughts on Rengoku?
He's amazing.
Yeah. Okay.
Straight up.
Yeah. See, all my thoughts are gonna be in the spoiler section. So I'm gonna sit over here.
Well, what I do want to talk about this movie, it has now been the highest grossing movie of Japan of all time, and that is impressive. I mean, for an anime property, it's even higher than Your Name, and that was making waves just several years ago. I will say, of course, it doesn't have all that much competition to go against, so it does have that in its favor. But it really shows the strength of this movie and the Demon Slayer property as a whole. Even over here, in its first opening day, it grossed more ticket sales in the US than Mortal Kombat did on its opening day. It may have won the weekend, but that's still a surprise. A big Hollywood movie like that losing to an anime movie, usually more limited in its release, and that's impressive. That's really saying something.
Yeah, man, people are on board with Demon Slayer. People are literally just on this hype train right now. And
Yeah, I will say, as a movie, the only I kind of gripe, not necessarily a gripe, but one thing I noticed is that it definitely feels more like a 3 or 4 episode anime than it really does a movie. Not necessarily on the animation part, but story content wise. There is kind of a third act in there that was a bit surprising, and it didn't feel as set up as it maybe could have been. But it is what you get for a movie. You just kind of have to go alongside with the manga, and it feels more like 4 episodes, 4 really, really good episodes, but more of a 4 episodes than, like, say, a movie or something. At least that's how I feel. And if you're interested in Demon Slayer, go watch this movie. It's just a continuation. It's essentially like high quality OVAs that takes place in between here in the second season that will eventually come out.
Yeah, I second that. I mean, this movie was fire, man. This movie was fire. And you just need it. You need it to go on to the second season too. If you're just into Demon Slayer, I would definitely go check this out.
Yeah, there's no reason not to.
Yeah, exactly. Like, it's literally part of the story.
Mm-hmm. Unlike many of the former Shonen Jump titles like Dragon Ball or Bleach or Naruto, this movie it takes place in the story, so it's important. Much like Dragon Ball Super or kind of the new wave of anime movies that are coming. Eventually, Jujutsu Kaisen will have its own movie that continues the story. It's gonna continue the story, and so it's essential viewing if you want to get more in between now and the next season. So go watch it. Now, speaking of fire, shall we get into the spoiler section of the video?
Oh yeah.
Let's get into it, guys. Yeah, lots to unload here. First of all, thoughts on Rengoku?
That dude,
He's
amazing. Like, so you pop in and he's just on there on the train just eating food, and he's just repeating delicious over and over and over, and I'm like, okay, what is happening right now? I mean, obviously because he's a Hashira, so I was like, I knew he was gonna be like just crazy, but by the end of the movie and just how everything plays out, like, you just see that there are so many levels to this Demon Slayer thing. Like, the Rengoku stuff in like the third act makes me excited to see where Tanjiro is gonna go. Rengoku is fighting Kaza, who's like the upper third level demon, and Tanjiro can't even keep up with the fight. Like, he has no idea what's going on. He cannot track them. He has no clue what's going on. So, like, dude, how far like below them, like level wise, is Tanjiro at this point? Like
For
there's
real.
so much growing for him to do. So I'm excited for that. And then just Rengoku was just a beast. That fight was just amazing. Him and Akaza, just insane.
Yeah, you really get to learn all that you need to know about Rengoku from this. So my impression from at least the Hashira was that they're kind of a bit snobbish, at least initially when you see them at the end there. They're the most powerful demon slayers, and they kind of carry themselves that way where they you almost feel like they look down upon like Tanjiro and Nezuko because his sister's a demon and demons aren't supposed to work, with demon slayers and all that. My initial thoughts was like, I don't know what this guy's like until you see that opening where he's just like, delicious, oh, it's amazing, and then you kind of understand his character from there. And then even further when you see his dream and you see this guy is actually a really decent guy. Like, he is full of passion, he's full of shonen spirit, and he's reached a level where he's just amazing. If Tanjiro was like Saiyan Saga Goku watching like Boo fight or something, he's just not on that level yet. Rengoku, especially in the third act where he fights that third rank demon, that was a visual spectacle.
Absolutely.
Yeah. We did not talk about what seemed like the main villain, at least for the first 2 acts, which was Enmu, and how he
Weird, bruh.
was weird.
He was just weird, man.
My initial thoughts was like, okay, this is going to be on a train. That's kind of odd. It turns out he was the damn train. Okay. He was the train. Everyone, all the passengers were inside of him. And that threw me off. I was like, whoa, this is bizarre, but only in a Demon Slayer type of way. Tanjiro, he goes up against Enmu. A little side note, I'm just thinking, once he figures out how to break the dream, which according to his dad is like, there's something you need to cut. Okay, well, what does he have to cut? I would have not thought, oh, my own neck? That's how I wake up? But okay, I guess that works. So he goes up against Enmu, and then he slices off his head, and even Tanjiro was like, okay, this was a bit too easy, because it shouldn't end here. And it turns out, yeah, he was right. His whole body's to train.
There was a point in there where he was like, I mean, I watched the sub, but there was a point in there where he is literally the train, and he's just all these demon slayers and running inside of me, and I'm like, hold on, bruh. Like, whoa, man.
We didn't have to take it that far now.
Yeah, that dude weird. I ain't got nothing to say about him.
Yeah, we did get to see him at the very end of the first season, right? Like the very tail end,
Right?
Because he was the last survivor. Like, well, what's his name? Main bad guy dude, Mugen guy dude was just killing off all of his people left and right. And so, yeah, he was the one that was, I guess, awarded the task of killing Tanjiro, essentially. So we kind of knew he was out there from the start, and it really shows how bizarre he was, and just how sadistic and cold he is too. Like, just putting people in like the blissful dreams, and then he can put them into the worst nightmares, and just like really fuck with their mentality. And that's I guess what I expect from demons in Demon Slayer to be, just purely sadistic. Even when his death was happening, Demon Slayer always has a way of trying to make the enemy seem a bit sympathetic, like you almost feel for them. I didn't really feel for this guy all that much, I will say.
Yeah, I was like, oh, yep, go ahead and disintegrate. Cause
Yeah,
I was like, but yeah, I do know what you mean. He's just like, am I really about to die? Like, am I really like they do bring out that emotion. Like, that's really what Demon Slayer is good at. Like, they just bring out that emotion, make you get caught in your feels, like they're really good at that.
Yeah. And speaking of emotion, like we hinted at with the Tanjiro scene, all of his family was just there, alive, just how it was. And he had that feeling like he didn't want to leave that, but he knew he had to. And oh God, like you really feel the emotion for it, like along with the music and like even insert songs by Lisa. It almost sounded like that episode 19 insert song, at least to me it did. They really do a good job of making the anime, making you care for the characters in this anime, especially Tanjiro. He's such a good boy. And we see that in his inner essence. You see everyone's inner essence in this movie, and it's just like pure, like sun. And even like one of the henchmen humans who were supposed to help Enmu, he's like, you know what? I feel bad. This guy is a good guy. And you know what? Go right ahead. Go right ahead and take
Like,
out Enmu.
Yeah, I'm about to die of tuberculosis.
Right.
I'm
but
about to
you know
die.
what?
Agree.
I just
I
can't.
know, yeah.
I'm about
So
to
yeah,
die.
and he uses all the kids. So he uses the kids to put everybody to sleep, and then go into their dreams, their dream sequences and their dream states or whatever, and try to just destroy their heart basically. And yeah, the kid with tuberculosis was like, I mean, I just can't. Like, this dude is so good. Like, I just can't do it. Like, it's just not gonna happen.
Meanwhile, Zenitsu and Inosuke literally just scared the other kids out of their out of
Yeah,
their vision.
and Inosuke got his in the bat cave. He just running around and just screaming and chasing people. And Zenitsu is like, nah, man.
Great.
Like any guy in here trying to come over here and mess with Nezuko is getting killed. Like, you just dead.
Yeah, what's a boy doing here? He just had this crazy scream.
Hey.
Oh my god! But it wasn't too
Almost
obnoxious. He didn't go on for too long. Like sometimes he annoyed me in the
No.
show, but here it was like the right
Yeah.
amount of screaming that was hilarious.
Agreed.
Yeah. I just like the contrast in the characters though. How they did that. How they just kind of, because neither of them are like the main focal points, but they really got some time to shine. And you get a little bit of their personality. It's really cool.
Yeah. The only one I really feel
Yeah.
like didn't get as much time to shine in this case was Nezuko. And
Yeah.
she was at least there to like be helpful and wake up Tanjiro and everyone else because she wasn't affected by the dreams. But I wish we got to see just a little bit more of her. But I guess, in a 2-hour movie, you kind of have to make a little bit of sacrifices. And maybe the manga wasn't really focusing on her too much. It was all about getting to know Rengoku and having some good character moments with the three main boys.
Yeah, and you got to imagine this is pretty early on in the story, and that was, relatively a small arc, which is why I am absolutely amazed they managed to make a fantastic movie out of that.
And seriously, again, that third act, as I was alluding to earlier, it was all of a sudden a new challenger approaches. It's literally just out of nowhere, like the third ranked demon, like someone who's just so powerful, just kind of shows up out of nowhere, and you're about to see Rengoku and this demon start to fight. And that was probably where, I mean, all of the movie looked fantastic, but they really put a lot of extra attention and animation cuts into the fight scenes in that climax. And it was absolutely fantastic. I was thrilled in the theaters.
And both Hakaza and what was the dude's name? The demon on the
Enmu.
train. Yeah, Enmu. Those two kind of makes you wonder how strong Muzan actually is and what his power set could be, because Enmu's was pretty bizarre if you think about it. I mean, he turned himself into a train and put together a huge hypnosis web that put to sleep even a Hashira or a pillar. If
Yeah,
catch you on
true.
Yep.
Still weird, but yeah.
I mean, if Muzan can just completely annihilate the lower moons without even trying,
Yeah,
how strong is he?
it really
Yeah.
puts it in
Yeah.
perspective
Yeah.
of like, this guy seems impossibly strong right now for at least any normal human. And even though they're like the Hashira, they're still humans, as we saw in that fight where he was prompting him to turn into a demon so they could fight forever. Because while he can just easily regenerate fast and recover, obviously Rengoku, he was taking on damage and it was not looking good for him. And and ultimately he gets impaled and he ends up succumbing to his wound at the very end, but not without being the ultimate badass and still just fighting on like Rengoku was just the dude. And that's what I got out of this movie. Like, Rengoku is like one of my favorite characters, and we barely get to really see him. It really, like, we only get to see him in this movie essentially. And that fight was just so epic.
Man, I don't even
Yeah.
care, man. I cry, bruh. I don't care.
Right.
I'll say it. I cry, man.
I am right there with you, Zero. Like, I was so emotionally invested in this fight as it's going on, and like you also get to, like, you get the cuts where when Goku is talking, to his father and letting him know he's a Hashira, but his father is like, whatever, I don't care. Like, he just doesn't approve of anything. But then he's also, like, still hyping up his little brother and letting him know, like, hey, you can do anything you want to do. Like, they're just showing you that he is just such a good dude. And then you've got Akaza and him, where they're just throwing hands, which that fight scene, it's just crazy. It's just they're going back and forth. The animation is just incredible, and even Akaza is like, look, man, like I just need you to become a demon. Like he's like, I don't want you to die. Like he's sitting there realizing I'm going to kill him if this continues, but I don't want him to die because like he is so strong and like he's just such an interesting person. Like I need him to become a demon so we can just like fight forever. Like when you have the demons even like not wanting to kill you, like you're special. Like there's something about you that is just super special. And I mean, yeah, I was sitting there definitely getting teary-eyed as this is going, and he's just, impaled, and Tanjiro is bawling as usual.
They're all bawling at the very end.
And
Even
Inosuke,
Inosuke's
like,
like, why are you
Inosuke
crying, man? You ain't supposed to
through his
cry.
mask is
Meanwhile-
crying.
Yeah, that one
Mask is
got to
crying.
me. Yeah.
And then Rengoku sees his mother who's passed, and she tells him
Yeah.
that she's proud, and then like that was, you could just feel it in the theater, like that was it. Like people start crying. And then I told you already, like I had a little side note. So in the
Mhm.
theater, so his mom, pops up and says she's proud. So I'm kind of sitting near, there's like some little like middle school kids or maybe
Mhm.
high school kids, I don't know. So Rengoku finally passes, and one of these kids goes, "Ha, he's dead." Now,
Wow.
I do not, here at R&M, we do not condone violence against children. But let me tell you, to get up and throw hands at all like 6 or 7 of these children. But then I came right back down to reality, because in the like from like the front of the theater, you hear like this little girl, like kind of like a weepy, like she's obviously crying voice. You hear her, she goes, "Shut up, bitch."
That's a good story.
and I was like, okay, all right, I'm good. It's a little girl. I was like, you got him. All right, we're good. I was seeing red. I'm like, really? This is the moment you're going to slander Rengoku after this crazy fight scene, all this emotional investment that they brought in, and you're gonna, he's dead. Like, what?
Maybe that's a weird coping mechanism to not show emotion.
I have no idea.
Maybe I'm
man,
looking
but
too much into that.
I was like, these kids, y'all
You
got
got
to
it just as hurts. Shut up, bitch. That's good. I didn't have a theater experience like that, but that is quite funny. I know Melissa and her sister, they were definitely teary-eyed, and we had to keep our masks on, and it's just like, it's hard.
Yep.
She saved that little boy's life. I swear to God.
Yeah. And think about this. Rengoku is such a G that no passenger died. No passenger died besides him.
Yep.
Like he made sure to save just about everybody. He was moving so fast. He did get a little bit of help from Zenitsu and Nezuko, but ultimately, like he's the one saving everybody. He was just the realist, and even made sure it even saved Tanjiro's life. He was about to get clobbered by the demon. He's just like, nope, slice your arm.
Yep.
And yeah, that's one thing to take away from this movie, is that Rengoku pretty much stole the show. Like you didn't know much about him going in, but coming out, you were totally invested, and you were saddened by his death extremely, and he fought the good fight.
Absolutely.
And on top of that, like, because then they had it like at the end where the Raven go, and it is, telling all the pillars what happened. And I'm just like, man, I'm like, Wax and Moon, they coming for you. They coming for you, though. They coming. I'm like, shoot, I'm coming too. Like,
Yeah.
y'all coming.
It was kind of cool to see the other Hashira like kind of project their sadness in their own way, or just disbelief. Like, I can't believe they killed one of us, or Rengoku of all people. So it was a telling moment to see the rest of them show grief in one form or another.
Yeah, but now that makes me even more hyped to see the rest of them in action,
Mhm.
and just see how strong they are. And then again, like I said earlier, I just want to see Anjiro's growth, because that he's got some ways to go.
Yeah, agreed.
They got ways to go. They showed the benchmarks, and they do it pretty well here. Like, like you're nowhere close to where you need to be, and even with his new fire technique, it's like you still got to master it, which was kind of cool. You saw like at least you see Rengoku. He was giving a little bit more advice towards the tail end, like teaching him how to, I guess, fix his blood vessel, because he got stabbed in the movie, where he really opens up to Tanjiro, telling him like, I don't know much about what you're looking for, but I know my father has these scrolls that may pertain to what you're looking for. So I'm sure that's where the story's going to be heading afterwards. Imagine in season 2, he's going to be checking out Rengoku's clan or father. And I imagine he has to lay it down for the little brother as well. So, man, feels train coming. But That's at least what I predict going forward after this movie.
And he did teach him, man, because that's the thing. Like, he was like, "Can I be your pupil?" And he's like, "Yes, I'll take you all on."
Yeah, he was so excited.
He did teach, you know what I mean, like a little bit. It's just
In the short time he was there, man, he at least got some good. He got some good wisdom in and taught him some things, and that's what makes it sad because you only have a short time with him, and you realize this guy is just all burning passion, and he's just a really, really good dude.
Even has this, his speech at the end with Tanjiro, and even tells him that he accepts Nezuko as part of the core because like she's out here, putting her life on the line for protect all the humans and stuff. And I thought that was really cool too.
Yeah, is he the first Hashira to do that? Like no one else really kind of believes in her.
Yeah, I don't think any of them. I don't think any of them. I mean, obviously the master said, "Hey, she's in," and that's it's his word, like his final word. But none of them really accepted her outside of Rengoku, really. So that's a good step, to see where things go with the rest of the Hashira.
Mm-hmm.
Man, why'd it have to be him, man?
For real,
they had to do that investment.
Bruh. It hurt, man. They did.
Yeah, I guess that's why you got to take out the best one, and hopefully there's some decent ones in there. But I know my first impressions of them, they weren't very favorable.
But again, that just shows how good this movie was to get you like so emotionally invested in that character in such a short amount of time. Because he was in the anime for like a couple episodes, but I mean, he doesn't do much. He's just kind of there, and then you get all his story and everything really fast in this, and then you just love the character, and then he's gone.
So much emotion at the end there, especially when
all at you.
Oh man, yeah, when Tanjiro threw his sword at the demon.
He's just screaming at him.
Oh man, he was like, "Get back here, you coward!"
He didn't lose. He didn't. Nobody died on the train. He didn't lose. He beat you. I was like, "Oh my!"
He's the ultimate cheer squad. Yeah, the hype man for Rengoku, and I was there with him. Like, yeah, you're right, Tanjiro. He didn't lose, man. He won.
I'm just sitting there, grown ass man in the fucking movie theater, just tears coming down and little kids talking shit. Like, this is ridiculous, bro. Like, I can't believe y'all got me like this.
For real. All right. So, any closing thoughts before we head out?
Everybody needs to go see this movie. If you're a Demon Slayer fan, or if you're an anime fan, you need to go watch this movie. Period.
Yeah, if you're an anime fan, go watch Demon Slayer. Then watch, if you haven't already, and then watch this movie because it doesn't disappoint. It does not disappoint. It really invests you.
What are you still doing here? I said go see the movie.
Thank you so much for watching our video on Demon Slayer the movie Mugen Train. We want to hear your thoughts below. Did you like it? Did you dislike it? Did you watch it sub or dub? Let us know. As always, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you can stay up to date with our latest videos. Also, special shout out to our patron supporter Omar De La Cruz. We really appreciate your support. With that said, make sure to join the nation to be part of the conversation. Till next time.